Opals have always captivated humanity with their mysterious beauty and dazzling play of light. Their history is filled with contradictions. At different times, these stones have been symbols of both good fortune and misfortune. Before modern favorites like diamonds and sapphires, opals were among the most valuable gemstones, adorning the crowns and treasuries of emperors, kings, and pharaohs. But among all these gems, one particularly enigmatic opal stands out, the black opal known as the Burning of Troy. In this episode, we will trace the path of one of the most mystical treasures of the French crown. This stone, gifted by Napoleon to Josephine, was not just a piece of jewelry, but a symbol of their passion and power. How did the Burning of Troy end up in Josephine's hands? What happened to this gem after her death, and why is its fate still shrouded in mystery? We will also discuss other famous opals of France and their roles in history. Before we begin, please support my channel by clicking the like and subscribe buttons. Thank you. Napoleon and Josephine's love was like a storm, passionate, unpredictable, and destructive. When they met in 1795, Josephine was 32 and Napoleon was 26. He was a young general, ambitious and determined, while she was a charming aristocrat who had already endured drama and grief. Her first husband had been executed during the Reign of Terror, and she herself had narrowly escaped the same fate. Having lost everything, Josephine survived thanks to her wit, charm, and romances with influential men who helped her support her family. She knew how to navigate a harsh world where every move could cost her life. When she met Napoleon, their connection was immediate and all-consuming. Napoleon, usually reserved and cold with other women, fell under Josephine's spell. He was captivated not only by her beauty, but also by her ability to wield power, control emotions, and dominate. Their correspondence preserved the memory of how intense his obsession was. In letters, he confessed that he could not forget a single touch, a single moment spent with her. In one letter, he wrote, "I wake up thinking of you. Your image and the memory of the night we spent together torment my senses and rob me of peace." However, their relationship was far from calm and romantic. Josephine was a woman with a difficult character, independent and sometimes too cold. Napoleon was a fiery and jealous man. Their marriage, which took place in 1796, was full of passion but also intrigue. Both were unfaithful. Josephine had lovers, and Napoleon was also unfaithful, which only fueled their mutual passion. Josephine once caught Napoleon with one of her ladies-in-waiting, but despite the scandals, they continued to love each other in this unique war of emotions. Napoleon often returned to Josephine with gifts and apologies, hoping for reconciliation, and one of the most mysterious gifts was a black opal known as the Burning of Troy. This gemstone was a true marvel of its time. Its name, Burning of Troy, came from the fiery red flashes that danced on its black surface like flames erupting in darkness. Imagine, in the depths of the smooth black surface of the opal, bright red flares suddenly ignite, like a fire consuming everything in its path. Such a sight must have been both captivating and terrifying. It is said that the stone was enormous, weighing around 700 carats, though some sources claim it could have reached 3,000 carats. It was so large and impressive that it was compared to the mythical fire that destroyed ancient Troy. For a long time, historians believed that this opal was mined in Hungary, where famous deposits were located at the time. However, due to the deep black color of the base and the intensity of the fiery flashes, experts now believe it may have come from Honduras. This adds even more mystery to its story. How did this rarest of stones find its way into Napoleon's hands, who usually gifted Josephine either Italian jewels or trophies from his conquests? Unfortunately, no images of the Burning of Troy have survived, although much has been written and said about it. There are no confirmed drawings or descriptions that could accurately convey its appearance. All we know are the memories and descriptions of witnesses who spoke of the stone's mesmerizing beauty and extraordinary power. One of today's high-quality black opals might give an idea of how this stone looked, but given the size of the Burning of Troy, this opal must have made an absolutely fantastical impression. After Josephine's death in 1814, the opal mysteriously disappeared. Many believe that the stone was hidden away by one of her heirs, perhaps to protect it from prying eyes. It only resurfaced shortly before the start of World War I, now in Vienna. It is believed that city authorities purchased the stone from an anonymous seller. Despite the city's dire economic condition after the war, officials refused to sell the opal, considering it a priceless treasure. However, with the onset of World War II, the burning of Troy once again vanished without a trace, and its whereabouts have remained unknown ever since. The opal continues to be a subject of fascination, speculation, and legend, with countless theories about where it might have ended up. Even though the exact appearance of the burning of Troy remains a mystery to us, we can still catch a glimpse of Josephine wearing another stunning opal tiara. In an 1807 portrait by Guillaume Lethière, Josephine is depicted adorned in a set of golden jewels featuring opals, including a large tiara. Unfortunately, beyond this portrait, no further information about these jewels has survived, and their fate remains shrouded in mystery. It seems that these opals too may have been lost to history. The relationship between Napoleon and Josephine, like their love, was filled with passion and dramatic turns, but unfortunately it could not last forever. Their marriage, which began in 1796, was not only a personal union, but also a political alliance. However, despite their deep affection for each other, a critical issue soon arose for Napoleon: the need for an heir. Although Josephine was his beloved wife, she was unable to bear him a child. Napoleon urgently needed a legitimate son to inherit his empire and secure his power. Despite all efforts to preserve their marriage, by 1809, Napoleon made the painful decision. He informed Josephine that, for the sake of France, they had to divorce. This moment became a deep emotional tragedy for both of them. Josephine, understanding that she could not give him an heir, reluctantly agreed to the divorce with great sorrow. However, their love did not fade. Despite the separation, they remained connected. Napoleon continued to care for Josephine, and by many accounts, their bond remained warm and tender even after their official split. It is said that until the end of his life, Napoleon cherished memories of her. There is even a touching legend that, on his deathbed in exile on the island of St. Helena, Napoleon uttered her name in his final moments. And here, like a symbol of this enduring yet doomed love, stands the black opal burning of Troy. The stone, like their relationship, was fiery, tumultuous, and full of energy. It symbolized a passion that they could not preserve, but that could never be entirely extinguished. Just as the burning of Troy disappeared mysteriously, their love left behind a riddle, a myth that outlived them both. The stone vanished as suddenly as it had appeared in Josephine's life, leaving only the memory of its brilliance and grandeur, much like their story, which continues to inspire and intrigue people around the world. After discussing the burning of Troy and its mysterious fate, it is worth turning our attention to another remarkable piece of jewelry belonging to the Beauharnais family: the magnificent opal parure that belonged to Hortense de Beauharnais, Josephine's daughter. Hortense, born from Josephine's marriage to her first husband, Alexandre de Beauharnais, played an important role in history as the mother of the future Emperor Napoleon III and Queen of Holland, being the wife of Louis Bonaparte, Napoleon I's brother. Josephine was not only the Empress of France, but also a woman who loved to adorn herself with jewelry that symbolized power, status, and personal strength. In the photograph before us, we can see a stunning set of jewelry, a parure that belonged to Hortense. This collection, which includes a tiara, necklace, and other accessories, glows with magical opals. Today, Hortense's opal parure is housed in Ehrenberg Castle in Switzerland, where a museum dedicated to this remarkable woman is located. The castle became Hortense's home after Napoleon's downfall, when she retired from political life and settled in the peaceful Swiss countryside. Here, surrounded by her memories and family heirlooms, Orten spent her final years. Although specific historical details about the origins of this parure are scarce, its preservation is a testament to the significance such jewels held for members of royal families. Opals played an important role not only in the jewelry of Josephine and Orten's, but also in the history of other French empresses. Opals remained popular until the mid-19th century, but their reputation took a sharp decline following the publication of Sir Walter Scott's novel Anne of Geierstein in 1829. In the story, the opal symbolized misfortune, and as a result, superstitions surrounding the gem grew considerably. The European opal market began to crumble, and for nearly 50 years, jewelers often avoided working with the stone, while buyers became wary of it. Empress Eugenie, the wife of Napoleon III, was one of those who succumbed to these superstitions. Although her husband gifted her many opal jewels, Eugenie, like many other women of the time, feared wearing the stone. In the photograph shown, you can see a necklace and earrings adorned with opals and surrounded by diamonds, which were said to have belonged to Eugenie. This set was likely one of the many gifts from her husband. However, the superstitions were so strong that, despite the beauty and grandeur of the jewelry, Eugenie preferred to keep it locked away, fearing that it might bring misfortune. Perhaps the most famous opal in France that has survived to this day is the large opal purchased by Louis XVIII in 1818. This gemstone was a white oval opal weighing 77 carats, mined from the famous Hungarian mines near the village of Cervenica. These mines, now located in modern Slovakia, were the only known source of precious opals in the Old World. These mines may have even been worked during the Roman Empire, which adds significant historical value to the stone. Louis XVIII likely acquired the opal as a symbol of the restoration of his monarchy after the turbulent years of revolution and Napoleonic wars. Although it is unknown how Louis used his acquisition, his brother and successor, Charles X, had the opal set into the clasp of his coronation robe, which he wore during the grand coronation ceremony of 1825. The opal clasp became a symbol of royal grandeur, highlighting the magnificence of the coronation. However, the fate of this great stone did not end there. Years later, the opal of Louis XVIII was set into a new piece of jewelry, this time as a brooch, adorned with 48 small diamonds, created for Empress Eugenie. Though Eugenie loved opals, she never wore this brooch due to the same superstitions surrounding the stone. In 1887, after the fall of the Second Empire and the establishment of the Third Republic, many of the French crown jewels, including the famous opal of Louis XVIII, were sold at the infamous Diamonds of the French Crown auction. This event had a political motive, as the Republic was determined to sever all ties with the monarchy. Many of the jewels sold during that auction have since remained out of public reach, but the royal opal was eventually bought back and is now housed in the collection of the National Museum of Natural History in Paris, continuing to symbolize the rich heritage of the French crown. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it as fascinating as I did to explore the world of royal opals, from the mysterious black opal burning of Troy to the legendary jewels of French emperors. What do you think about the fate of these gems? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your opinions. If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with your friends. Thank you for your attention, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.